Welcome back to Red Cedar Radar, our first basketball edition of the podcast. I'm joined by two new faces. I'll let them introduce themselves, tell a little bit about kind of what they do at Spartans Illustrated and maybe just what they do in general. So go ahead.
Take it?
Go take it, yeah.
All right. I'm Andrew Stegaheist, but I run a page called Andrew Talks Hoops that I started doing a lot of Spartan content on and kind of grew from there. But yeah, I've been with Spartans Illustrated for about like 3 or 4 months now, just doing a lot of video content. So TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that, player analysis. Anyways, go ahead, Cam.
No, my name is Caden Hoffman.
Oh my God, it's
You're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. My name is Caden Hoffman. I'm a junior student here at Michigan State. This is my first semester working for Spartans Illustrated to cover football, and this is my first basketball game, obviously. And yeah, I'm excited for this year. I'll hand this back off to Sid.
Awesome. Okay, so same as last year, we're going to do things that went well during the game, things that maybe need some improvement, and then we'll each pick a player of the game. Obviously, this is just an exhibition game, but I think gives a good look into the season, look into rotations, all the new guys coming together. This is our first time really seeing them all play together. So things that went well. I talked with the guys in the locker room, and it sounded like they have good team chemistry, which I think is something that's hard to build in this day and age of basketball, just with everybody coming from different places, different experiences. It seems like they have good camaraderie. Obviously, when you ask them that question, they're going to say that they have good camaraderie, but it seemed like there was a good vibe in the locker room. So something to watch for, I think, in college basketball overall with how much things change, but specifically with the Spartans.
Yeah, I think that the things that we expected them to do well in some ways, they did well. Like, for example, Jeremy was great with his creation tonight, had a bunch of assists. Cohen was really dangerous going downhill. Like, every time he got the ball in transition, it either ended up in some sort of dunk or layup or shooting free throws. So those things were really great to see. And I really liked the minutes we saw from Cam Ward, even though the stat sheet wouldn't necessarily show that. He's a really big body out there. As Izzo said, he came up with some tough boards. He had a really nice entry pass, a high-low entry pass into, I think it was Jackson Kohler. It might have been Cooper. I think it was Jackson. And, yeah, it's just nice to see some of that high-low game. You didn't see as much of that last year between Jackson and Cooper. I know that's something they're probably working on in the offseason. So, yeah, a few different directions there. But I think a few things that we expected to go well went well. And then I was surprised by Cam. I think he's just ready to come in and play major minutes in the Big Ten, which is cool to see out of a freshman.
And I think my favorite thing that I saw from them that went well, you may look at the stats sheet and just see 8 of 25 from three, but I think the way they're generating the threes were so key in the half court especially, and even on the break, just the guys, the way that they're shooting them, they were open shots. It's not like they're struggling to get up a shot. They weren't late shot clock shots besides, I think one from Jackson at the beginning of the game. Other than that, they were just very high efficient, high profile shots, and those guys are going to hit that. Even like the new guy coming in, Trey Fort, hitting 3 of 5 threes. That's something you love to see. He just has that willingness to be able to take those shots, and that's just something that you want to see from this team that struggled so desperately last year from 3.
Things that maybe didn't go as well. Izzo mentioned a couple in the post-game presser. I don't think too much to be concerned about at this point. There wasn't anything glaring to me. I think part of it could be kind of going back to what I said, a bunch of new guys coming together. The rotation seemed very split between the starters and some of the new guys. So I imagine that there will be some intermingling of that more so than we saw tonight. I think that would be my biggest thing. Getting the rotations set a little bit more is something that I'm hoping that will happen quicker rather than later into the season.
Yeah. I think Izzo mentioned this as well, but it's so hard to have any sort of structure with defensive rotations when you're mixing in guys that honestly likely won't even be on the floor together very much during the season. And they're just trying out a lot of different things right now. That's what these exhibition games are for. So like you said, diving too deep into any one point probably wouldn't, be too fruitful, let's say. But I would say the free throw shooting from Cohen Carr, I don't think that'll be something that repeats itself often. I think Izzo said he was like 3 for 8. But he just seems to have better mechanics on that shot. I'm not worried about that going forward. And then just some of the defensive breakdowns, allowing some open shots. This perimeter defense is not going to be what it was last year. I mean, they were just so tenacious on the perimeter with Jaden and Jace and Trey and Jeremy all running after guys. So it's just going to be a different beast this year, and they're going to have to figure out their ways to make things work. But you obviously don't want one kid, getting open looks over and over again when he's already hit 3 or 4. I think he ended up with 5 or 6 by the time the game was done. What was it, 7 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously that perimeter defense is something that Izzo is going to be on him about in the coming weeks and probably before even this exhibition game against UConn.
And so another thing that just kind of stuck out was the rebounding. They won the rebounding battle by 1, and that's just not something that you want to see from this team, obviously going in the future in the season. In the offensive rebounds, it was 9-9. They were just giving up way too many second chance points. I feel like that's something that will fix itself throughout the years. The first game, maybe just missing a couple bodies on the box outs. It's not anything that's too big, but it's just something, I guess, to watch for because the rebounds were so close this game.
Okay, player of the game. Since I'm starting, I get to choose the easy one. I'll choose Cohen Carr. Although, I mean, he made great shots and he made great energy plays, especially in the first half. I just felt like he was much more of a leader out on the court than he has been the past 2 seasons. And I think with the way he plays and the energy that he brings, he should be a leader out on the court. So he's maybe filled that role a little bit more. I felt that way when I was watching him in Moneyball this summer. He really kind of took Cam Ward under his wing. They were on the same team, and I felt like I watched him often gather up Cam and talk about, okay, this is what we're doing next. And I was impressed by that, and that it carried over into the season. I saw him telling even Jeremy Fears, like, you got to think. So I think that's my player of the game, just because he's filling a role that he should be filling.
I could go probably a couple ways with this after you took the
Yes.
the best option, but I'll go with Jackson Kohler. I think that he gave us what kind of we'd expect out of a year of development with Jackson. He looked confident in those threes. None of them looked to be bad shots that were like ill-timed or anything. I think there was one possession to start the game that he kind of had to heave it up after a bad half-court possession. But other than that, they were kind of getting killed on the offensive glass for a little bit there, and Jackson really bared down. I think he ended up with 10 defensive boards, and a couple blocks, 15 points. So I'll go with Jackson on that one.
And mine is going to be the newcomer Trey Ford. I feel like no matter what role he's going to play this season, he's going to impact the game one way or another. He came off the bench today, but I feel like I could see him starting down the line, obviously with his three-point shot. His defense didn't look as bad as I thought it was. I don't know if that's a bad thing to say, but it looked better. It looked better than I thought it would look just for his first game. And I think just having a player like him after losing, like Andrew said, Akins, Jace, Trey, a guy who's kind of in that mold in a way is going to help the team all year.
That kind of concludes our episode here. It was great to be back in the Breslin, and I'm so glad I could be here for your guys' first game covered. Anything else that you want to share overall about?
This is Caden. That's what I want to say. This is Caden, not Camden.
I think I will probably leave that in. Sorry.
Well, now you have to.
Well, thanks so much for joining, tuning in for Red Cedar Radar. I'll be back after every basketball game with a recap like this. There'll be some different faces here in and out, but I'll be here all season, so you're stuck with me. But that's okay. Subscribe to Spartans Illustrated. Check out what we're doing on the new site. Lots of new stuff. There'll be an exclusive from you after this game.
I'll be doing a review on TikTok.
You'll have an article too. We'll have lots of content after this game, and then for the rest of the season, all sorts of things. Definitely check us out. Find Red Cedar Radar everywhere that you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you not from after UConn. I'm not going all the way to UConn, but I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye.